Amazon has officially unveiled the logo for its upcoming live-action Masters of the Universe. This year's event will be the first real chance for Mattel and Amazon Studios to pull back the curtain and show off whatever they're ready to share before the film hits theaters next year. Directed by Travis Knight, with a script by Chris Butler, the movie sticks to a classic setup, at least on paper. The official synopsis, revealed a while back, goes like this. When 10-year-old Prince Adam crash lands on Earth, he's separated from his magical power sword, the one thing connecting him to his homeworld of Eternia. Nearly 20 years later, he finally tracks it down, only to be pulled back across the galaxy to defend his planet from Skeletor, played by Jared Leto. But before he can face such a dangerous enemy, Adam must uncover the truth about his past and transform into He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. It's a straightforward, almost textbook Masters of the Universe origin story, but expect a few twists in the adaptation. Early word is that this will act as a spiritual remake of the 1987 film starring Dolph Lundgren. So, rather than a straight adaptation of the animated series, it's more of a modern reimagining of that old live-action movie. Some details will be reworked, but the foundation is still the same. Prince Adam, heir to the throne of Eternia, armed with the power sword and the ability to become the legendary He-Man. Nicholas Galitzine is stepping into the lead role, and we've already gotten our first look at him on set as Adam. In the shots, he's dressed like an everyday guy. Pink button-up shirt, chinos, Apple Watch. Nothing that screams future savior of the universe. In one moment, he's surrounded by police as they confiscate the massive power sword from him. From the looks of it, part of the movie really will take place on Earth, just as early rumors claimed. The local cops clearly don't know what to make of a jacked stranger strolling around town with a medieval-looking weapon. Apparently, he gets arrested, likely for carrying a deadly weapon, and hauled in for questioning. The whole thing has a playful fish-out-of-water vibe, with magic awkwardly bumping into the modern world and sparking a fun cultural clash. Of course, Earth isn't where the real battle is. Eternia is still the heart of the story, and from what's been teased, the plot will eventually jump there, possibly running alongside the Earth storyline. Word is, we'll even get flashbacks showing Skeletor's past, back when he was Keldor, the brother of King Randor, who betrayed the royal family and transformed into the skull-faced tyrant we know. Joining him will be Goatman, a hulking, goat-featured warrior from the classic Rogues Gallery, played by Hafþór Björnsson, aka the Mountain from Game of Thrones. And that's just scratching the surface. The movie will pack in a whole roster of iconic characters from the original lore, heroes and villains alike, making it clear this isn't some scaled-down adaptation. It's aiming to bring the entire Masters of the Universe world back in full force. But here's where it gets interesting. If the leaks are legit, the filmmakers are rewriting some of the classic backstory. Don't expect Adam to be the royal heir of Eternia right out of the gate. Instead, this version makes him a completely ordinary office worker in the modern day, totally unaware of his real origins. Everything he once knew about Eternia was wiped from his memory as a kid. Then one day, he stumbles across the power sword, and with it, unlocks his hidden memories and the truth about who he really is. That's when Adam learns the truth. He's actually a prince, and his home planet is in serious trouble. Skeletor has already seized part of Eternia and is ruling it with an iron fist. Now it's on Adam to return, face down the villain, and bring balance back to his world. Judging by the set photos and leaks, the movie is firmly set in the present day. You can spot smartphones, Apple Watches, and contemporary cityscapes all over. That pretty much puts to rest those earlier rumors about a retro 80s setting meant to mimic the vibe of the original cartoon. Instead, the creative team seems to be aiming for a complete reboot, not a nostalgia-heavy throwback. The early plot, though, feels, well, a little familiar. It's the classic Chosen One setup. An ordinary guy discovers he's destined for greatness and heads off to save the world. We've seen this arc play out in everything from Thor to Shazam. And yes, even Barbie, which, funnily enough, also comes from Mattel. Of course, Barbie turned into a cultural juggernaut and a billion-dollar box office hit. But whether lightning will strike twice for Masters of the Universe is still up in the air. This franchise has a much smaller, more niche fanbase, which is why a by-the-numbers hero origin raises a few eyebrows. Here's hoping Amazon has a few tricks hidden up its sleeve. Maybe a big plot twist, a bold visual style, or some fresh storytelling that takes it beyond a standard hero's journey. But right now, it's too early to tell. We haven't seen a single polished frame of footage, let alone a teaser. All we've got are candid on-set shots and unconfirmed leaks. Until that first official trailer drops, everything's still pure speculation. Filming on the Masters of the Universe reboot has officially wrapped, and the movie is now deep in post-production. Travis Knight is in the director's chair, chosen after his work on Bumblebee impressed producers with that perfect balance between nostalgia and modern flair, spectacle, and heart. That's exactly the tightrope this franchise needs. Once a pop culture powerhouse, Masters of the Universe has been out of the spotlight for years. Now, Amazon is fully backing the comeback, with a reported budget close to $200 million. That's a massive bet on a property that, while iconic, hasn't been a box office titan lately, but it's also a clear sign the studio believes in what they've got. The challenge will be translating the spirit of the original, those bold 80s aesthetics, the slightly campy but endlessly charming mythology, and its larger-than-life heroes and villains, into something that resonates today. If they pull it off, this reboot could make a serious splash. It's wild to think this might be one of the most drawn-out and troubled productions in Hollywood history. The journey started all the way back in 2005, and since then, the project has churned through over a dozen directors, endless script rewrites, and multiple studio shakeups. Nearly 20 years later, it's finally on track to hit theaters next year. Just imagine how many completely different versions of this movie have been left behind in development hell. Whole visions of Eternia that never saw the light of day. At one point in the mid-2000s, John Woo was actually set to direct. Then, in 2009, the rights landed at Sony, who announced big plans for a trilogy, even comparing it to The Lord of the Rings. Their pitch was a darker, grittier, heroic fantasy, a total tonal shift from what Amazon is making now. This new version is leaning toward a reimagining, lighter in tone, with some self-aware humor and playful nods to genre cliches. There will still be epic moments, but this isn't trying to be Middle-earth. The closest the project ever came to actually happening before now was with Netflix. Starting in 2020, they picked up the live-action rights alongside their animated Masters of the Universe shows. Things moved quickly. Multiple animated series were launched, and by 2022, the live-action movie was in active development. The Ney brothers wrote the script, Kyle Allen was cast as He-Man, and around $40 million was reportedly spent before Netflix suddenly pulled the plug. No official explanation ever came out, but by 2023, Mattel had cut ties and was searching for a new home for the movie. That's when Amazon stepped in. The script was rewritten, Nicholas Galitzine was officially cast as He-Man, and the whole thing became a fresh reboot of what Netflix had started. Filming was meant to begin in 2024, but hit multiple delays before finally rolling cameras on January 6th of this year. The shoot took place in London, and now, with principal photography wrapped, the long journey to bring Masters of the Universe back to the big screen is almost complete. Right now, what the finished movie will actually be is anyone's guess. It could surprise everyone and turn into a fresh, exciting adaptation that carves out its own audience. But make no mistake, this is a high-stakes gamble. Riding the wave of Barbie's massive success, Mattel has been open about its plan to spin more of its classic toy lines into big-screen franchises. The thing is, just because Barbie crushed it doesn't mean the same magic will work here. Masters of the Universe will live or die on the strength of its script, the depth of its characters, and how cleverly it reimagines the source material. Without those, even a $200 million budget won't save it from sinking. For now, it's all about the wait, and hoping that first trailer gives us something to get truly excited about.